Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ימלא את כל מי שואל לבכם לטובה.
Amen.
Today we're going to try to understand the concept of the habit. We're going to try to understand the concept of when a person gets used to something, what's the effect when a person makes a habit out of something? What that habit can affect his life down the road in his life. In Masechet Gittin, in Daf Nun Zayin, there's a story with Onkelos. Now, as we know, Onkelos, he wrote the Pirush on the Torah. Onkelos, he wrote the Pirush on the Torah, one of the first Pirushim on the Torah. Onkelos was also a convert. And as we know, his explanation of the Torah was so respected that the Tanaim, that they were able to bring back from the dead and do all these big miracles, they took his explanation as the explanation of the Torah. So we see how big Onkelos was. Now Onkelos, before he converted, he was very, very powerful with the koach. He had a lot of power with kishuf, with dark magic, and a lot of power and sorcery. Now Onkelos, before he converted, he wasn't interested for looking for religions that are half the truth. Onkelos was looking for the truth and nothing but the truth. So what did Onkelos do? Onkelos, with his power that he had, with his sorcery, he brought down from hell Titus Arasha. Titus Arasha, the one that destroyed Bet HaMikdash, he brought down from hell Titus Arasha. Titus Arasha was also the family of Onkelos. Titus Arasha was the son of Onkelos' sister. So to show you from how far Onkelos came from. He came from his family being the one that destroyed Bet HaMikdash to where he got to. When he brought down Titus Arasha from Gehenam, when he brought down Titus Arasha from hell, he asked Titus Arasha, you're no longer in this world. You're in Olam Haba. Tell me, what religion is the religion of truth? Where is the truth in this world? So Titus Arasha answered Onkelos, the truth is in the Jews. The Torah of the Jews, that's the Torah. The Torah of Moshe, that's the Torah of Emet. The Bnei Israel, they're the chosen nation. There's nobody else. Bnei Israel, Em HaIkar, they're the most important, and everything else, it's Shtuot. So Onkelos said, okay. So Onkelos asked Titus Arasha, and should I be close to them? Should I be a part of them? Should I be a part of this big nation, the Jews, like what you talk about? And Titus Arasha said, under no circumstances. What you have to do is you have to go, you have to kill the Jews. You have to give tsar. You have to, any place you find that you can do tsar, you can do a pain to the Jews, you take that opportunity and you do it. And so Onkelos asked Titus Arasha, what's the punishment for a person like that? What's the punishment for a person like you, that's what you did all your life? That any opportunity you had to do bad to the Jews, you took that opportunity and you ran with it. So Titus Arasha told him, every week they take Titus Arasha and they put him under fire. And they let him burn for 6 days in a row. And in the 6th day, the 7th day, they take his ashes and they spread it around the whole world. Now, but you have to understand, a punishment like this, okay, you spread the ashes, doesn't sound very, very painful. But in this world, it's not like in hell, in the next world. Here, if you burn a person, he burns for 2-3 minutes, and say, after 2-3 minutes, he feels no pain. You can take his ash, you can throw it, you can play with it. But in the other world, when a person is burning in the fire of Gehenna, he feels every single drop of every single drop of flame, he feels it. And what's the inyan? What's the purpose to spreading it around the world? It's like, I'll give you guys an example. It's like you take a person and you rip him apart. And you rip each piece to millions of pieces. And each piece feels his own pain. It's not like here if you cut off a hand, the hand doesn't feel. Each piece has its own pain. So imagine how strong and how bad the punishment of Titus Arasha of what they do to him in Gehenna. Onkelos wasn't satisfied. What did he do? He went and he brought down again from hell. Who did he bring this time? He brought down Bilam Arasha. Bilam Arasha, we know the story with Bilam and Tzipor. We read it a couple of weeks ago. He brought down Bilam Arasha from Gehenna, from hell, and he asked Bilam Arasha the same question. Out of all the nations, out of all the religions, where is the truth? Who is the chosen nations out of all the nations? Bilam Arasha, of course, answered him, Bnei Israel, they're the chosen ones. Bnei Israel, their Torah is the only religion that matters. Everything else is tafel. Everything else is nothing. It's worthless. So Onkelos asked Bilam Arasha, and should I be a part of this big religion that you say that it's the most important? And like Titus Arasha, what did Bilam answer? You have to do all the bad you can possibly do to Bnei Israel, you go and you do it. So Onkelos asked, and what's a punishment like a man like you? That's what you did all your life. You searched to find a place where you can do harm to Bnei Israel. So Bilam answered him that they take him every week, every day, and they put him in boiling. They boil him. That's what he does in Gehenna. They boil him. The whole time he sits in Gehenna, they boil him. So now, Rabotai, I have a question for you. There's something very hard to understand here. We know that Bilam and Titus Arasha, they're no longer in this world. They're already in Olam HaEmet. They're already in the world of truth. They don't have the bad side, the good side. Now, is it possible that we can say that Bilam and Titus Arasha, they don't know the truth? How is it possible that a man that's already in Olam HaEmet, he already knows the truth? When Onkelos came and asked him, what should we do? And what did they answer? Do harm to Bnei Israel, do bad to Bnei Israel. How is this possible? Bilam and Titus Arasha, they already got their judgment for the sins that they did. Right now, in the moment that Bilam and Titus Arasha are telling Onkelos to go and to kill Bnei Israel, they're suffering punishments that we can't even describe. So how can it be that a person that's suffering big punishment still can go and tell another person to do that same sin? Something is very hard to understand. So maybe we can come and say that they don't see the truth. But that's also very hard to understand. Now, we know that when a person passes away from this world, his Yetzer Hara, his bad side, dies with him. The Yetzer Hara, the bad side of the person, the side that pushes the person to go do bad, dies with him in the body and stays with him in the grave. Doesn't go up. In Shamayim, there's only light, there's only the truth. The bad, there's no bad, there's no space for darkness in Shamayim. So what? Can we come and say that what? That Titus Arasha and Bilam Arasha, their Yetzer Hara didn't die? It's very hard to understand, Rabotai. So we're going to try to explain it. To say that Bilam and Titus Arasha, they don't know the truth, you can't say that. Why? Because when Onkelos asked them, who is the chosen nation? What did they answer? Bnei Israel. They know the truth. Titus Arasha and Bilam Arasha in their life, when they had Yetzer Hara, it's impossible that they would say Bnei Israel, they are the chosen nation. So to say that they don't know the truth, you can't say that. Why? Because they said the truth. So what? To say now that the Yetzer Hara didn't die, their Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Hara of Titus Arasha and the Yetzer Hara of Bilam Arasha didn't die? We can't say that because Chachamim, they came and they say it's impossible. When a person dies, the Yetzer Hara dies. There's no such thing that in Olam HaEmet, there's no such thing that in Shamayim, there's space for Yetzer Hara. So Rabotai, what can we learn from this? We can learn something very big. Titus Arasha and Bilam Arasha, all their life, they got so used to doing bad. They made it a habit of doing so much bad. All their life, every single day on this world, they made it into such a habit such a routine of doing bad, that even when the musag, the concept of Yitzhara doesn't exist, but because they made their neshama so used to the tumah, they made their neshama, they made their soul so used to being in mamash, in klipa, we say in the Zohar, klipa, it's like peel. They made their neshama so used to having so many layers of tumah on it, that even Gehenam takes a long time to repair them. Even when they're burning in Gehenam, it doesn't repair them. Why? Because they made their neshama used to doing averot. They made their neshama used to doing bad. So that one moment that Unculus came to Titus HaRasha, that one moment that Unculus came to Bilam HaRasha and asked them, what should I do? Should I be a part of Am Yisrael? That part of him that became into a routine of always looking to do bad to Bnei Yisrael took over in that moment. So we see how powerful, Rabotai, routine is. How powerful when a person makes himself used to, when a person plants roots of tum'ah in his soul, it takes years upon years for Gehenam to burn those roots out. We see even all those suffering that they go through, that's not enough. It takes years upon years to burn that bad that's inside the Rasha, the neshama of the Rasha. So we see how big the concept of routine. You know, Rabotai, in Masechet Shabbat, in Daf Kuf Mem Tet, there it speaks about in the moment that they dragged Nebuchadnezzar HaRasha down to Gehenam. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Bet HaMikdash HaRishon. When they were holding up Nebuchadnezzar with chains of metal and dragging him down to the gates of Gehenam, something amazing happened. The Gemara speaks about something extraordinary. When they opened the gates of hell and they started to drag down Nebuchadnezzar, all Yoshvei Gehenam, all the people, all the Reshaim that were sitting in hell, the moment that they saw Nebuchadnezzar, they started to scream. And they started to scream and bang on the walls of Gehenam. And they were screaming and screaming. And what were they screaming? Why did you bring this Rasha to rule us? Why did you bring this Rasha to be our king? Why did you bring this person back here to be our leader again? The Gemara says that they were screaming so much and making so much noise in Gehenam that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to come and explain to them that Nebuchadnezzar came here like everybody else. He came here to clean his neshama like everybody else. Not special. He's not coming to rule. He's not coming to be the king on anyone. Now, Rabotai, all Yoshvei Gehenam, all the people that are right now sitting in hell, each one suffering his own punishment for his own sins that he did. Each one got his own judgments from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What made a person like that, the second he saw Nebuchadnezzar, to think for a second that he came to rule on us? A person that got his judgment from HaKadosh Baruch Hu and knows what he did, he knows the Emet. In Olam HaEmet, in this world, there's non-truth. In this world, there's questions. But in Olam HaEmet, there's no question, and there's no space for anything that's non-truth. So how for 1 second, a person that's sitting right now, going through hell, mamash, not a phrase, hell mamash, can think for a second that Nebuchadnezzar HaRasha is coming to rule on them? It's very hard to understand that a person mamash now is going through hell can think like that for a second. What, those Reshaim, they didn't get their judgment? They all got their judgment from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What, they don't know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's the only ruler? He's the king of all kings? Abotai, to bring us back to the same thing. All those Yoshvei Gehenam, all those people that were sitting in hell, in this world, they got so used to being the slaves of Nebuchadnezzar. They got so used to being under the hard work of Nebuchadnezzar. They got so used to being under the tum'ah of Nebuchadnezzar, that the second that they saw Nebuchadnezzar, that part of them that got used to all that pain that Nebuchadnezzar brought on them, took over them in that moment. And in that moment, they lost all control. We see, Rabotai, we can learn something very big. A person that does a chet, and he gets used to the chet. That chet, when he gets used to it, it's like he plants roots so deep in his neshama that are very hard to take out those roots. You know, Abutai, it's like a person that goes and does an avera. He did a sin. The first day, he went, he cried to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, asked for forgiveness. He was mamash, lighting candles, giving tzedakah, begged Hashem for forgiveness. The next day, he did the same sin. He goes, he begs for Hashem for forgiveness, but a little bit less. The third day, he goes, he does the same sin. He asks for HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgiveness, but even less. And like that, day after day after day after day. After a couple of years, he won't even realize that he's doing the chet. He won't even realize that he's doing the avera. And that is where the habit takes over completely. Because when a person doesn't even realize that he's doing an avera, that is when the habit becomes extremely powerful. You know, Rabotai, in Masechet Shabbat, in Masechet Shabbat, the Gemara talks about, you know, in Shabbat, Gehenam is closed. Friday afternoon before Shabbat, HaKadosh Baruch Hu turns off Gehenam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and turns off the fire of Gehenam, and he makes a shayara. He marches all Yoshvei Gehenam, all the Reshaim that are sitting in Gehenam, he marches them, takes them out of Gehenam and marches them towards two mountains full of snow. He marches all Yoshvei Gehenam to two mountains of snow. And all the people that were sitting in Gehenam the whole week, in Shabbat, they go in the snow and they take the snow and they put it on their bodies to cool their bodies from the heat of Gehenam the whole week. The Gemara says there that every Motzei Shabbat, HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a line again. And he marches them back to Gehenam. He marches them back to hell. And the Gemara says that there's some Reshaim that what do? They go, they take snow, they put it in their hands and they close their hands and hide it. And they try to take the snow into hell to cool themselves from the fire of Gehenam the whole week. And when Hashem is marching them, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees them, he tells them, Oy lachem reshaim, she'afilu begehenam gozlim. Oh, you reshaim, that even in hell, you still have the audacity to steal. Rabotai takes us back to the same point. A person is sitting in Gehenam. A person 6 days of the week, he's burning in Gehenam. He still has that bad Yetzer Hara to go and steal. Those Reshaim are sitting in Gehenam because they steal. And they still have the you can say even the audacity, the guts, to go and to steal. And more than that, if Olam HaEmet, if the next world is a world just of truth, then where is the concept of stealing exist? We know that there's only truth. Stealing is truth, bichlalo. Stealing is the epitome of non-truth. So Abotai, where does this come from? It's to teach us the hand that got used to stealing on this world. The hand that all his life on this world got so used that the second he sees something he likes, he doesn't even realize, but his hand is already sent to go take it. That same hand, even in Gehenam, that same hand, when he sees something he wants, his hand will send without even realizing. Rabotai, we see how big habit becomes, how habit can take over a person even when the concept of bad and good doesn't exist anymore. You know, Rabotai, in Masechet Eruvin, and Daf Yutet, there the Gemara says, Reshaim, afilu omdim al petach shel Gehenam, enach chozrim b'tshuva. Reshaim, even standing on the gates of Gehenam, standing on the gates of hell, הם לא חוזרים בתשובה. They don't do tshuva. They don't regret for what they did. Now, Rabotai, I'll give you an example. It's very hard to understand that a person that hears the scream of Gehenam, sees the fire of Gehenam, and doesn't have a drop of regret in him, it's very hard to understand. You know, it's like, I'll give you an example. It's like a thief that went and stole from the king tachshitim. He stole from the king gold and diamonds and all that. The king sent people to go catch this thief. They catch the thief, they bring the thief to the king. The king says, we need to burn this thief. His punishment will burn him. They make a big fire, they tie the thief up, they're about to throw him in the fire, and the king asks them, do you regret for what you did? And he says no. It's a very hard thing to understand. So how is it that the Reshaim, they see the fire of Gehenna, they hear the screams of Gehenna, of the people that are suffering in hell, and they still don't regret? Rabotai, those Reshaim, they want to regret. They want to see the truth. But they got so used to the sheker, they got so used to the tumah, that even when they see the truth, they want the truth, but they can't have the truth. To have in their cases, to get the truth, they have to pass through big isurim. They have to pass through big punishments to get the truth. So Rabotai, it's a big lesson for us that we see when a person gets used to an averah, when a person gets used to doing something bad, how deep it could affect his neshama, how far it can affect his neshama. And even when the concept of bad and good don't exist, but still that habit is still stuck in his neshama. It's stuck in his soul. When a person gets used to something, what he's doing lemaaseh is he's planting deep roots in his neshama. And those deep roots are very hard to take those deep roots out. Now, Rabotai, we speak about habit and when a person gets used to something. We see here that it's a big power. But Rabotai, habit and routine, it's a big power. We see that it's very powerful, but it goes two ways. If a person takes the habit and he takes the strong power of habit and takes it to the bad, he takes it to the chet, to the averah, to all the bad things in the world, we see how strong this power becomes. But Rabotai, if a person takes the habit, if a person takes the power of routine and he puts it to the mitzvot, if a person takes and puts it to the kedusha, that power is even stronger than the power of tumah. Now Rabotai, when we say that for a person should make the mitzvot into a habit, to make the mitzvot into a routine, it's not chas v'shalom that he'll do the mitzvot until he loses taste in them. He does them because he has to, not because he wants to. Chas v'shalom. A person that gets used to the mitzvah, a person that makes the mitzvah into a habit, it's a person that wakes up in the morning and puts tefillin and doesn't think once, should I put tefillin today or not? A person that gets used to the mitzvah, it's that the fact he doesn't think once, should I do the mitzvah or should I not do the mitzvah? That's a habit of the mitzvah. That's a routine of the mitzvah. It's a person that when he wakes up in the morning, he opens his closet and he doesn't say, should I put tzitzit today? Should I not put tzitzit today? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? When a person makes a mitzvah into a routine, it's that he doesn't think, not even once, should I do it? Should I not do it? He does it without even realizing he did the mitzvah. It's like a person that sees a poor person in the street. He doesn't think, should I give him? Should I not give him? He runs and he gives him without even realizing. You know, Rabotai, in the Tehillim, in Perek Kaf Gimel, there it says, Ach tov vechesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti v'bet Hashem le'orech yamim. Hatov vechesed, when a person does good, he does mitzvot, he helps the poor, he does all the good deeds that he can do, those good deeds and those mitzvot will hunt him down. Now, Rabotai, why is the David HaMelech, why is the Tehillim speak about the mitzvah with lashon, with a tongue of hunting down? What, the mitzvah will really hunt you down? Why did the Tehillim use the word yirdefuni? That it will yirdofoti, hunt me. Rabotai, to teach us a big thing. When a person gets used to the mitzvah. And when a person makes the mitzvah a habit, makes a routine, that he doesn't think once or twice, should I do the mitzvah or not do the mitzvah? The one day that he will decide, today I'm going to put the mitzvah down, the mitzvah won't let him. The mitzvah will lirdof oto. The mitzvah will hunt him down. And that's why the Tehillim speaks in the word with lashon, with a way of speaking of the mitzvah will hunt you down. That the one day that the person that made his mitzvah into a routine will say, not today. It's very hot. I'm not going to put tzitzit. That mitzvah won't let him go. And that mitzvah will chase him. You know, Rabotai, in Masechet Ketubot, in Daf Ayin Zayin, there's something very interesting. The Gemara speaks about one day in Gan Eden, one day in paradise, in Gan Eden. Eliyahu Hanavi came to Gan Eden and he started to announce, make way, make room, move for the big tzaddik Levi. Everyone make space for the big tzaddik Levi. Eliyahu Hanavi said like that, make room for the big tzaddik Levi. When this big tzaddik Levi came to Gan Eden, to paradise, paradise, when this Levi, his name was Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. When this Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi went to his spot, when they were taking him to his corner in Gan Eden, when they were taking him to his corner of paradise, he saw Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the one that wrote, the tzaddik that wrote the Zohar Kadosh, sitting on 13 bricks of gold. He was sitting on 13 bricks of gold and he was learning Torah. When Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi went into his corner, right away, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai ran up to Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi and grabbed Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi and asked Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, are you the Levi that they announced? They announced of a big tzaddik named Levi. Are you that Levi that they announced? So Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, I think, I'm not sure, but I think I'm the Levi that they announced. Now, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai asked Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, did you ever see a rainbow in your life? Now, Rabotai, people think that when you see a rainbow, it's good luck, or it's because it's beautiful, it's colors, that it's... People think that when you see a rainbow, it's good luck because it's colorful. But Rabotai, a rainbow is a very bad sign. What does a rainbow mean? When a person sees a rainbow, it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu is angry. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to bring back the Mabul. He wants to bring back the flood of Noach. The same flood that he brought in Noach, he wants to bring that same flood. But he can't. Why can't HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring the flood back? Because he made us swear that he will never bring back the flood. So every single time HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to bring back the flood, and he can't because he swore, he shows a rainbow. But there's one time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to bring back the flood, but he doesn't bring back the flood, not because he swore. If there's one tzaddik in the world, if there's one pure tzaddik, 100% tzaddik, if there's one tzaddik that is 100% tzaddik, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't bring the flood because he swore. He doesn't bring the flood because there's a tzaddik. And as long as there's one true tzaddik in the world, they'll never show a rainbow in the world. If there's one tzaddik that he's a true tzaddik, they'll never have a rainbow appear in the world. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai asked Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, did you ever see a rainbow in your life? Did a rainbow ever appear in the days that you were on this world? So Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, of course, all the time. Now, Rabotai, we know that the fact is that Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi never saw a rainbow, because we know that Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi was a pure tzaddik. So what's the point of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi telling Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that he sees rainbows all the time? Okay, so you come and you say humbleness. But Rabotai, the tzaddikim, they come on this world to be humble, to go through their sufferings, but they go in the next world and the concept of being humble, the concept of having gava, of having pride, the concept of being angry, happy, doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And uvda, proof, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that all his life he made sure to live in such tzar, in such pain, in such poor. He lived in 13 years, he was in the cave. And Gan Eden, what is he sitting on? 13 bricks of gold. So we see that the concepts of anava, of humbleness, of gava, they don't exist. So why is Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi showing Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that he's humble? That of course he saw a rainbow in his life. If this concept of humbleness doesn't exist, so why is it here? Rabotai, it's to teach you. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, in this world, he implanted it in his blood, the midah of humbleness. All his life he worked so hard on being so humble that even when the midah, even when the concept of humble doesn't exist, but still he continues with that good midah. He still continues with that good deed. Why? Because he made it into a habit and he planted in his soul roots so deep that even when the concept doesn't exist, he continues with that same good deed. So we see, Rabotai, when a person does something good and he makes it into a habit of doing something good, how strong it is. You know, Rabotai, in Masechet Bava Metzia, in Daf Pei Vav, there it speaks of a story of there was a machloket, a big argument in Metifta de Rakia. There was a big argument in the Bet Midrash of Gan Eden. There was a big argument in Metifta de Rakia. What's Metifta de Rakia? It's it's like a yeshiva. It's a yeshiva where people learn, but in Shamayim. It's yeshiva where all the people that are all the people that are in Gan Eden, they come and they learn. And there was a big argument in Gan Eden. There were two sides. There were all Yoshvei Gan Eden, all the people that sit in Gan Eden, against who? Against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Big argument between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and all the tzaddikim that were in paradise. They were arguing on the subject of tu'ah and ta'ara, of impurity and purity. It's the tzarat. You know, when a person, at the time when he would speak Lashon Hara, leprosy. They were speaking about a certain situation of a person. If he has leprosy, is he ta'or or is he tameh? Is he pure or is he impure? And they were in this argument, and the angels came and they said, who's going to make a pshara? Who's going to know? Who's going to decide who's right and who's not right? You have all the tzaddikim that ever existed against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who's going to put this argument, settle it? So they came and they said there's one tzaddik. There's one tzaddik, that this tzaddik his name is Rabba Bar Nachmani. And he is the professional of leprosy and Tumat HaOalim and Tumat HaMet. He is the professional of all the impurity. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent Malach HaMavet. We don't usually say that he sent Malach, but he sent Malach HaMavet to go bring Rabba Bar Nachmani. Rabba Bar Nachmani at the time was sleeping in the middle of the yar, of the forest. And when he was sleeping, while he was sleeping, he was so into his Torah that even when he was sleeping, his lips were moving. And his lips were saying Dvar Torah, his lips were learning. So when Yetzer Hara tried to come and to take his neshama, Yetzer Hara couldn't take him. Every time he would come, he was sitting down and he was learning. So Yetzer Hara, he had to find a solution to bring this neshama up to Gan Eden. HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked him to bring the neshama up to Gan Eden. He needs to bring the neshama up to Gan Eden. What did he do? He did like what he did to David and like he did to a lot of tzaddikim, to try to distract them. What did he do? He went to the other side of this forest. And he sent big wind to hit between the trees. And that wind was so strong that it was breaking down trees. And when it was going through the trees, it sounded like horses that were running. When Rabbi Bar Nachmani heard these horses, he quickly got up. And he thought that it's the shlichim, the messengers of the king to come and take him. So in that moment, Rabbi Bar Nachmani said, I'd rather die in here, Ta'or, I'd rather die here, pure, than die in the hands of the Goy queen, the king. And in that moment, Yitzhara came and took him. When Yitzhara, when he brought his neshama to Gan Eden, HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and to greet him to the gates of paradise. When they brought him in, they sat him down and they explained to him this big argument. Now, Rabbi Bar Nachmani, he decided, Halacha like Hashem. The Halacha is like Hashem. But Rabotai, there's something very hard to understand here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and all the tzaddikim, they're in Gan Eden. Why are they even arguing about halachot impurity? If in Gan Eden, if in paradise, there's no such thing as impurity, why are they even arguing about it? They should argue about things that does exist. They're arguing about something that doesn't exist in their world. So what's the point of arguing, of speaking of halachot that don't exist? Rabotai, it's to teach us this lesson that when a person makes himself a routine and he makes the Torah and the mitzvot a part of his life, even when the Torah doesn't have meaning anymore, the Torah of impurity doesn't have purpose, but still, a person that got used to learning Torah all his life, he will always, even when the Torah, this specific halachot, don't have meaning, not chas v'shalom, don't have meaning, but they don't have a purpose in that world, still, that person will always go to the side of the Torah. When a person gets himself used to the Kedusha, even when he has the option of the Tumah, but he'll always push to the good side, to the side of the Kedusha. So this is a big lesson that we should all learn. That when a person makes a habit is something very big. If you take it to the good side, you see who you can end up like. The habit will chase you, the mitzvah will hunt you down. But if you take it to the bad side, a person that does a chet, and he does the chet on a routinely basis, at a certain point he won't even realize that he's doing a chet. And we see how big, how powerful the concept of routine, of getting used to something. So it's something very important that we should all keep in mind and try to work on ourselves to improve that Hashem. Now, I'm going to say a little bit about Tisha B'Av because it's coming. You know, last week was Parashat Matot Masai. In Parashat Matot, it speaks about a person that killed someone by accident. What is that? For any reason, he was cutting a tree with an axe, and when he was breaking the tree, the metal of the axe went into someone's head, and that person left this world. Last in the parasha, a person that killed someone by accident, what does he have to do? He needs to run to where? To Ir Miklat. He runs to a small city. It's like a city of protection, that he sits in this city until the Kohen HaGadol passes away. Refugees. A city of refugees. And he sits in this city until Kohen HaGadol passes away. Until the main Kohen passes away, he needs to sit in that city. Now, Rabotai, I'm asking a question. What does the Kohen HaGadol have to do with all this? Why you put all this on the back of the Kohen HaGadol? That any person that killed by accident, he needs to stay in a type of containment, in a type of jail, until he passes away. what's the point of putting all this big weight on the back of the Kohen Gadol? What did the Kohen Gadol do to have this weight on his back? So Chachamim, they come and they explain a big lesson, a big lesson that we should learn. The Kohen Gadol, his job is to make unity in Bnei Israel. His job is to pray for Bnei Israel. So if the Kohen Gadol wasn't praying enough for unity and for Achdut in Bnei Israel, situations like this would happen. And if situations like it would happen, it will be on his back. So Rabotai, we see the concept of unity and how unity is very, very important. Now, we know that the Beit HaMikdash, Monday, Bet Hashem, it's Tisha B'Av. Monday night. Now, the Tisha B'Av, why do we do Tisha B'Av? Tisha B'Av is Lezecher Choban Bet HaMikdash. It's because our Bet HaMikdash was destroyed. Now, why was our Bet HaMikdash destroyed? Sinat Chinam. What is Sinat Chinam? What's Sinat Chinam? Hatred. There was no unity. There was no unity in Bnei Israel. No Achdut in Bnei Israel. And because there was no Achdut in Bnei Israel, what happened? What happened? The Bet HaMikdash was destroyed. Now, Rabotai, in Tisha B'Av, there's one Megillah that we read. And what's that Megillah? Megillat Echa. What is Megillat Echa? Megillat Echa is a Megillah. It's the story of Choban Bet HaMikdash. And it's the story how Bnei Israel suffered in this period of time. Now, Rabotai, there's something amazing in the first pasuk of Echa. What's the first pasuk? Echa yashva badad ha'ir. If we take the first letter of every word of the first pasuk, what comes out? Oiva. What's oiva? Hatred. Hatred. No unity. Rabotai, to teach you a big lesson. If we want to avoid a Megillah like Echa, if we want to avoid a story like Echa, the only way to avoid the story of Echa is to avoid hatred. To avoid that concept of hatred, to be Achdut. So Rabotai, it's a big thing of Achdut. And we know, I say this all the time. In Masechet Megillah, in Daf Vav, there we learn that not just you wear tefillin. There's one more person that wears tefillin. Who is that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like all of us, wears tefillin. But in Hashem's tefillin, it doesn't say, it doesn't have the Kadesh Liko Bechor V'Yaka V'Yacha Shemayim Shama. It doesn't have those 4 parashot. What does it say in his tefillin? Mi Ka'amecha Yisrael, Goy Echad Ba'aretz. A nation like you, Israel, that are like one person in all the land. Am Israel is like one person. And Rabotai, when there's no Achdut, when there's no unity in Bnei Israel, do you know what we do? We take Hashem's tefillin and we throw them to the trash. We take Hashem's tefillin and we show them to be lie. We take Hashem's tefillin, edut sheker. Because if there's no Achdut, then Hashem's tefillin are worth nothing. So Rabotai, it teaches you how something small that you don't think it goes far, and hate between a person to another one, how far it can go, that it can take the tefillin of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and take its value away. So Rabotai, B'ezrat Hashem, בזכות רבי חיים פינטו, בזכות רבי משה פינטו, הקדוש ברוך הוא ייתן לכם, אריזה לקדוש, it's the הילולה of Avari HaKadosh also. Everyone should light a candle. B'ezrat Hashem, maybe the Shabbat will speak a little bit about him. but בזכות שהקדוש ברוך הוא ייתן לכם ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיכם. בעזרת השם הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא את כל משאלות לבכם לטובה מקריאת סוף.